Welcome to Adventures Walking as One, where we'll explore what it really looks like to walk in the same direction on the same path as husband and wife.
Yes. Well, we are Mark and Carol Schweiger from Walk as One Ministries. And we believe that marriage is the greatest adventure and worth preparing for.
Yes. So today's conversation.
It's a continuation. Of the 10 words that describe a great marriage. We have 10 words, but it's because Hebrews 10:24 said, we should keep on encouraging each other and be thoughtful and do helpful things. So we desire to bring hope and encouragement to have a great marriage.
Yeah, and a lot of people do need hope.
Yeah, they do. So tell them about the 5 words that we've already covered in the previous podcast.
And you can go back and watch these, but direction,
yeah,
honesty is helpful to have, a shared faith,
yeah,
understanding, and then gratitude. And as a reminder, I might put this in each of the podcasts, but great marriages don't just happen. They're intentionally built.
yeah.
So,
the first one we're going to talk about today is companionship.
Companionship.
Are you my companion?
Yes, and that's just simply enjoying each other's company, like we're doing right here today.
Yeah.
It brings a connection, and actually even for us just doing this, because we're sharing, talking, preparing, it is bringing a connection for us. In Genesis 2:20, it says that man gave names to all livestock and the birds of the sky and to every beast of the field, but for Adam there was not found a suitable helper for him.
Poor Adam.
Yeah. So God brings all the animals,
yeah,
right? And he has them name them. And he doesn't realize that there's no suitable helper. So I guess he just thought it was cool being alone.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah.
It's usually the problem.
So, yeah. Yes.
But God also said, it is not good for man to be alone. So he said, I will make a helper suitable for him. And I love that. You know, yeah, we are the helper as a woman, but we are far more than the helper. We are the partner. We're a friend. You know, we help direct and guide. We actually have some intuition that men don't always have.
Yeah, and that's real. And so it's about doing life together.
Yeah.
And finding out what she enjoys. She finds out what I'm enjoying. And we've had a lot of practice at that. Walking and talking at the lake, I think, is one of our favorites.
Oh, it's one of our all-time favorites.
And my best part, sometimes I'd like people, but sometimes it's just the two of us and we go to the lake and there's nobody there. It's really great. And I feel like it's our own personal lake.
Yeah, we recently did that, didn't we? We went to St. Clair River and sat on the grass with our chairs and just looked at the river and enjoyed the boats. And
it wasn't super hot out.
Oh, it's a spectacular day.
They got an excellent boardwalk over there.
Yeah, but it was just nice to sit and relax and talk.
Yes, hanging out together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another fun thing I like doing is we'll take picnics. We'll go pick up a carryout, sometimes a submarine or a sandwich or a salad of some kind, and we'll have a picnic at the park and just sit and talk, and again, by the water. Love the water.
Yeah. And
I think that's part of being in Michigan. Everybody loves the water.
The impromptu part is kind of cool, too. What do you want to do? You want to do a picnic? Yeah, let's go to a picnic. We can sit somewhere. So that's always fun. Doing life together. Sometimes, well, not sometimes. There will be challenging times.
Right.
Like a death of a parent.
Yeah, maybe the parent has, they're near the end of their life. And so it requires a lot of time. And so, helping out the other person or giving them opportunities to serve is really important.
And even taking care of a parent. I mean, there's some times where I have to go, just to visit with my dad. Mm-hmm. And if they're by themselves, it's important for us to be with them. And so Carol makes time for me to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Or join you.
Or she joins me. Yeah. Sometimes she helps me. It's like you get overwhelmed with things going on, and she just says, well, I can go today.
Right. Okay. So another word, intimacy.
Okay, intimate. What is intimacy? Well, it allows us to be seen, accepted, and loved for who we are. So you are safe
Yeah.
if you're going to have intimacy.
Yeah, you have to be safe. You have to make sure you're providing a safe atmosphere. I've heard this many times. Intimacy. Into me, you see. Into me, you see. You see me. So intimacy. I love that. So it's really between you and them. So it's between me and you, not my girlfriends, right?
Yep.
So the things that are intimate is just between me and you.
And guys, it's not for the locker room, where you make fun of your wife or you make jokes or, hey, you know what she was telling me the other day? So that doesn't belong there.
It's kind of like Vegas.
Yeah.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Stays in Vegas.
So what
yes.
happens here stays here.
Stays here.
Yeah.
You can't be sharing that with everybody.
No. And it's about knowing each other. The Bible talks about Adam knew his wife. Well,
sex,
and
right?
then she conceived. So yeah, it's about sex. It's not just about sex, but in a marriage, it should be part about sex, right?
Yes, indeed.
But it's really about a covenant. All that I am belongs to you, and all that in you belongs to me.
Yes.
Right?
And I think we're missing that. Not part of today's conversation, but a covenant is really not understood. We call them vows today, marriage vows.
Right.
So we'll have to talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
But it's a closeness, a connection. We talk about connection. I mean, you have to feel attached when we talk about connection. And there's a lot of different things that will make you feel that way, and it depends a lot on your personality.
There's even symbols of that. Like a wedding ring is a symbol
Yes.
of that covenant, and different things that you do. You're in a soul tie together.
Yes.
And that means it's like a deep connection and a spiritual connection. Very different than just having a friend.
And so we're going to talk about connection a little bit. I mean, there's like three pieces or three
Aspects.
Connectors, maybe. One would be spiritual, which would be, praying together, going to church, sharing your values, which we've already talked about.
Physical or
Yes.
recreational connection.
Yes.
Of course, sex is part of that, but doing things together, physically, riding a bike even, guys like to connect by playing basketball. Well, I'm not going to play basketball. Some women will. I won't. But you don't play basketball, but I'm not going on the hockey rink either.
No, she did.
But I'll go for a hike.
You did play racquetball with me once. You
I
thought you were
did.
going to so beat me.
Yeah, well, I tried.
That didn't happen.
Anyway, there's also the emotional and intellectual connection that brings a lot of intimacy too.
Yeah, like a deep conversation. And so one of my favorites, when we became empty nesters, we didn't know what that meant. It's like, well, so now what do we do? And so we got a book about empty nesters, and we just went on dates, reading each chapter, talking about it. You don't sit down and read the whole thing all at once. I know some people may want to do that.
They may want to, but not us.
But yeah, we didn't do that.
But that really was helpful. It was fun to discuss a book.
Yes.
Yeah.
And pretty much in every one of these topics that we talk about, in every word, you have to have a level of trust, which is our 8th word.
And trust is a belief that someone is good and honest, and they're not going to harm you. So you feel safe, it's reliable, and you have confidence with it.
An interesting part about a trust is that it's built up over time.
Yeah.
So we've had 40 years to practice trust, and so it feels very natural to us.
Yeah.
I don't remember a time in the past where I didn't trust you, and maybe it's because we've known each other for a long time, 52 years, I think we said.
Yeah.
But that level of trust has to be built up. You have to demonstrate that you are a trustful person to that other person.
And we walk this out even through our finances, right?
Yes.
Things that we spend, how we manage our finances. We blend our money together, which, of course, that don't work. But, all of our money was our money. And that was covenant also.
Even when you did work.
And when we did work, when I did work and bring in some money. So it was just our decisions that we did, how we paid our bills, the plans that we made that would, involve finances. We were always in agreement, to do that.
You have to do that. And we're sharing finance because it's one of the struggles that a lot of people have as far as trust. Because will that person spend my money?
Yeah.
And, it's not really your money, it's our money
right.
at that point.
And you even had to encourage me to spend sometimes.
Yeah. And which isn't a bad problem to have, but I had to send her out with her sister. I says, okay, it's your birthday, here's some money, go spend it. I knew she wasn't going to spend it, so I sent her sister with her, and I said, make sure she spends the money. I don't remember.
There's
if she
also
did
decisions, in intimacy. Or trust. It's making decisions. You've got to really trust the person to make decisions sometimes.
Yes, and for me, I understand the concepts of a lot of medical things, but Carol's got her degree, respiratory therapy, and so a lot of things that happen, I trust the advice that she is giving me if she's talking about something, which is huge. That you have to trust the other person.
Right. Prior relationships was very interesting and can be really difficult for some couples because if they've had certain relationships, will their spouse trust them? Or can they trust the spouse?
Yes, and especially if one of them, one of your prior relationships happens to pop up one day. And maybe you're accidentally seen with that person, I mean, you're passing somebody in I was going to say a mall.
We don't even go to the malls anymore.
We don't have them. They're all torn down. But, you run into somebody and maybe Carol sees me talking to an old girlfriend. It's like, so what was she doing there?
Yeah.
And so if you find yourself not feeling comfortable with that, that's for sure a discussion that you need to have.
Yeah. But you have to have safeguards in place.
Yes.
And when you know that there's safeguards in place, it helps you to trust that person even more.
Yeah, and that would be the freedom to talk about it. And you have to be, like we've already talked about, being honest.
Right.
I mean, I just ran into her, and so you have to ask yourself, if you see this other person, you're talking to that person, and then I am suspicious. Why is that? And so
that's another discussion.
Yeah, well, one of the things assumptions.
Yeah.
And so, assumptions are just a natural part that we do in everyday life. You fill in the blanks for things, right?
Yeah.
And in a trust issue, I'm filling in the blanks. Oh, she could be having an affair. She could be doing this. No.
But that's an assumption or a preconceived notion.
Yes.
That really is not true. It could very well be a lie. So we have to be careful what we do with assumptions. Right?
And the idea, the next.
Well, I mean, trust is believing that you have the best in mind, right? So expecting the best and not the worst. And then Proverbs 31:11 says that her husband can trust her and she will greatly enrich his life. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. Not some of the days.
All the days.
But all the days.
I like that.
Okay. So the next one we're going to talk about the next word is supportive. And that's valuing their feelings, celebrating successes, being there during times of challenge.
It's an interesting one, and I like valuing because what is value to you, you're going to spend more time on, you're going to be spending more interest. You're going to have a level of curiosity. Yeah. And one of the ways to do that is just ask the question, how can I help you?
Right. And that's a really key question to ask because you don't want to assume what you're going to do to help the person is what they want, right?
Yeah. It was. Yeah, I guess I could use that example. I was going to vacuum the carpet one day, and when I cut the grass, I cut it, precise. You got a certain pattern that you follow, but I was going to vacuum the carpet, so I just vacuumed the carpet, right? I got in trouble because it wasn't. She does the same thing with the carpet as I do for the grass. I didn't know that, so I don't know if I got in trouble. But
it wasn't in a pattern. Now I'm not that way anymore.
No.
No. If you look at how I vacuum, it's not in a pattern. It's just get the job done. But there are things that sometimes we struggle with, like going to see your dad. His dad is elderly, so you want to have time to go visit him, like we had talked about before. And I want to support that. I want to make sure that there is time for him to go see his dad and work, do whatever you need to do on his behalf.
And even, there was one point where I was laid up. I had an injury. Couldn't walk.
Boy.
So she was cutting grass and doing pretty much everything.
And no complaining.
No complaining.
You just do
that's
what you
huge.
need to do, but it's supporting them. And it's important for me to connect with the grandkids. It's kind of a redemptive work because I didn't have grandparents, really. They were all pretty much passed except for one. And I missed that in my life. And I wanted that for my kids, and I want that for my grandkids. So it's really important that we're there for them, and we're connecting with them, that we're getting to know them, and they get to know us. And, it's kind of part of that leaving a legacy, right? But that is important to me. But you're supportive with that.
Yeah, and that's something that we had to discuss, because what is important to your spouse, you have to know if you're going to help them achieve that.
Right.
And so, for the grandkids, we have 11. And so I want to support her. I love going to see my grandkids, but if she wants to spend a little more time with them, 11 grandkids takes a lot of extra time.
A lot of time. And then maybe their passions, supporting their passions. He loves hockey and he plays hockey. So, I know that on Monday nights he's going to go play hockey, and I'm not going to complain about it.
Because she's home by herself and nobody's bothering her.
Yeah, I get to do whatever I want, or go visit and watch you play hockey. But I make sure that your equipment is ready, or your clothes are clean, and that you have what you need for it. The next one and the final word is respect.
Ooh, this one's huge.
It's treating as valuable, seeing their worth. And that is absolutely huge. God values my mate. God values Mark.
And I appreciate that.
You're in his heart. You're on his mind all the time.
And really all of us.
Yeah.
That he values.
And so if God values you, I need to value you. And that helps me in my perspective when I'm mad at you. that you oh no, I value this thing. Well, it's kind of like dishes. So if you value, so you have two kinds of dishes generally in your house. You have the old dishes, and you have a very defined china. Yeah.
And so if you value the fine china, or you should if you don't.
Yeah.
But you have to treat that differently than the old china. That's the old stuff. You can just dump it in the dishwasher. It doesn't matter as much. But I value it. I treat it differently.
Yes. Yeah, you're going to treat it very carefully. So there's an appreciation of, letting you know that I appreciate you. That shows respect. Listening to different opinion.
Yeah, and actually receiving it.
Yeah.
And you said listening, because
Right.
as soon as she has a different opinion, you're entering in another level of conversation. Yeah. And in that level of conversation, I may just tune her out because it's different than what I'm thinking, right?
But being non-judgmental, non-critical, and just listening and let them say what they think is important, and then get clarity as you go along. But honor the boundaries too, which is interesting. We thought, what are boundaries in a marriage? Why are there boundaries in a marriage? But there are, and I think about, here's one. When Mark would come home from work, I'm thinking, I want to tell him everything that happened throughout the day.
Right when I walk in the door.
Yeah. And I had to learn, no, give him some time to debrief. I kept thinking, why doesn't he do that on the way home? Prepare to walk in that door and hear it. But no, I wanted to respect you and your time and your ability to just get re-engaged in life, in our family and at home. So I made sure he had time to unwind. And I had to tell the kids, let Dad unwind. But they were usually hiding in a closet or something, waiting to be
waiting
found.
To pop out at me. And these are discussions that we've had, because if I need time to debrief, she doesn't know that, right? So you have to be talking and communicating with each other.
Yeah.
One of the interesting ones, and this is again in communication. It's almost involves ESP though. I think I have to actually see something that's not there. But stay out of the kitchen. So I go out. Dinner's going on, right? You want to be helpful. I want to be supportive. Right? So I go in the kitchen. I'm going to help. What are we making? And I'm ready to do whatever I need to do. And I get out of my kitchen.
But really, it's just respecting my space.
Yeah, and sometimes she wants help. It just depends on what she's making. Some things are a little more in depth. She doesn't want to have to take the time to explain to me what exactly that I need to do.
But it's, treating things treat them and things well. So like I make sure that if I'm using anything of your items, tools or whatever, that I put them back and put them back the way that I received them, or treat them better even than I got them. So it's just kind of honoring and respecting property.
Yes.
And the person as a whole.
And that respecting property and things you borrow.
Yeah.
I was taught to return them better than when you got them.
Right.
So you clean it. You make sure it's working. If you broke it, then you're going to have to replace it.
Yeah, you replace it.
That's just valuing something more than your stuff.
Yeah. Romans 12:10 says, "Be devoted to one another in love, honor one another above yourselves." And so there is a summation for that.
So that is it for our 10 words that describe a great marriage.
Yeah. We hope that we trust this brought you hope and encouraged you in your marriage.
Again, what words would you use to describe your marriage? Yeah. And you can put those in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Visit walkasone.net for the list of our 10 words that describe a great marriage. It would be in the podcast tab. And we also have the Marriage Basics curriculum, just as a reminder, on walkasone.net. And it gives you resources to walk through these words.
And so, what are we having? What are we going to talk about next time?
Well, we're going to keep it fresh.
Oh.
We're going to keep it fresh. So join us in our next... Huh?
In front of the camera?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Join us for our next podcast on dating ideas. So,
thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on our next
adventure.
Walking as One.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to a WBRW TV produced podcast in Washington Township, Michigan. Our podcast can be found on Spotify, and our video programming can be watched on WBRWTV.com or on our broadcast channels in Washington, Bruce, and Romeo on Comcast and AT&T. If you're interested in using our podcast space or have any ideas of your own for a podcast, reach out to us now at wbrwpodcast@gmail.com. For more information on our organization, our content, or how you can get involved, visit wbrwtv.com. The opinions, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect the views of the Charter Township of Washington, Michigan Community Media, or WBRW TV.